Stars and Bars. By March 1861, the Provisional Confederate Congress had adopted the Stars and Bars as the new nation's first official flag, and it flew until May 1st, 1863. It featured 3 horizontal stripes, red, white, red, and a blue canton on the hoist side. The canton bore a circle of white 5-pointed stars, originally 7, one for each seceding state, which grew to 13 as more states joined the Confederacy. The design is generally credited to artist Nicola Marshall of Alabama, though North Carolina's Orrin Randolph also made an independent claim. However, the Stars and Bars was soon criticized and replaced. Its similarity to the United States flag caused battlefield confusion, most famously at the First Battle of Bull Run. Many Confederates also derided it as a servile imitation of the Union banner. By May 1863, the Confederate Congress adopted a new national flag, the stainless banner, which paired the familiar battle flag cross with a plain white field to create a more distinctive emblem. Stainless banner. On May 1, 1863, the Confederate Congress adopted a new national flag to replace the Stars and Bars. Known as the stainless banner, it featured a pure white field with the Confederate battle flag in the canton. The design was submitted by Major William T. Thompson of Georgia, who argued that it better distinguished the Confederacy from the Union while symbolizing the cause of a superior race. The flag's stark white field earned it the nickname stainless, but it quickly revealed practical problems. In calm weather, it often resembled a flag of truce, creating confusion on the battlefield and in diplomacy. Despite its shortcomings, the stainless banner remained the Confederacy's official emblem for nearly 2 years and became closely associated with the later stages of the Civil War. It was intended to project unity under the battle flag while discarding the Union-like elements of the Stars and Bars, but its impractical design set the stage for yet another change in 1865. Blood-stained banner. Adopted on March 4, 1865, the blood-stained banner was the Confederacy's third and final national flag. It kept the stainless banner design of a white field with the Confederate battle flag in the canton, but added a vertical red stripe along the fly edge. The modification addressed a practical flaw of its predecessor. When hanging limp, the all-white field was easily mistaken for a flag of surrender. The addition of red gave the banner a more distinctive and martial appearance, symbolizing sacrifice and the blood of patriots. The flag was introduced only weeks before the Confederacy collapsed, meaning it saw little to no official use in the field. By the time it was raised, Confederate armies were already in retreat, and General Lee's surrender at Appomattox in April 1865 sealed its fate. As a result, the bloodstained banner remains the least recognized of the Confederate national flags, remembered more as a historical footnote than as a widely flown emblem. Confederate battle flag. The most enduring and controversial Confederate symbol is the battle flag, often called the Southern Cross. Unlike the national flags, this was never the Confederacy's official banner, but it became the most recognizable. Designed in 1861 by William Porcher Miles, it featured a blue saltire, diagonal cross, edged in white on a red field, with 13 white stars representing the Confederate states. Its square version was carried by the Army of Northern Virginia under General Robert E. Lee and later adopted by other Confederate forces. The battle flag solved a practical issue. The Stars and Bars too closely resembled the United States flag in the smoke of combat, causing dangerous confusion. Bold and unmistakable, the Southern Cross became the emblem soldiers rallied under in the field. After the war, it was incorporated into memorial traditions, veterans groups, and eventually state symbols, cementing its place in Southern identity. Today, its visibility far surpasses any of the official Confederate national flags. Symbol of secession. The bonnie blue flag predated the Confederacy but became an early emblem of Southern independence in 1861. Its design was strikingly simple: a dark blue field with a single white 5-pointed star in the center. The flag first appeared in 1810 during the short-lived Republic of West Florida, but it was revived half a century later by secessionists in Mississippi, which briefly flew it after seceding from the Union on January 9, 1861. The flag's association with defiance and unity spread quickly, aided by Harry McCarthy's patriotic song, "The Bonnie Blue Flag," which became a popular marching tune for Confederate soldiers. While never adopted as an official Confederate flag, it symbolized the spirit of rebellion and the idea of one star standing alone, representing each state leaving the Union. Its cultural resonance made it one of the Confederacy's most romanticized banners, even as it was soon replaced by more formal national and battle flags. Deo Vindice. In April 1863, the Confederate States adopted an official seal to authenticate government documents. Designed in London and engraved by Joseph Wyon, the Great Seal depicted George Washington on horseback, modeled after the famous statue in Richmond, Virginia. Around the image ran a wreath of Southern crops: cotton, tobacco, sugarcane, corn, and wheat, chosen to highlight the Confederacy's agricultural foundation. The seal bore the motto Deo Vindice, Latin for "with God as our defender," or "God will vindicate." This phrase expressed the belief that the Confederate cause was divinely sanctioned, a sentiment frequently invoked by leaders such as Jefferson Davis. Although the seal was formally adopted, the completed embossing dies did not reach Richmond until shortly before the city's fall in 1865, meaning it saw little use before the Confederacy collapsed. Today, the seal and motto stand as clear expressions of how the Confederacy sought to frame its rebellion as righteous, rooting its legitimacy in both heritage and divine providence. Southern Cross of Honor. The Southern Cross of Honor was a commemorative medal established in 1899 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy, UDC, to recognize Confederate veterans. Unlike battlefield flags or national emblems, this decoration emerged decades after the Civil War, during the height of the Lost Cause movement that romanticized the Confederacy. The medal's design featured a cross pate of bronze with United Daughters of the Confederacy to the UCV inscribed on the front, surrounding a laurel wreath and the dates 1861 to 1865. The reverse displayed the words Southern Cross of Honor encircling the Confederate battle flag. It was awarded free of charge to any honorably discharged Confederate veteran and later to their widows, serving both as a mark of service and as a unifying symbol for veteran reunions. Distributed until 1959, the decoration reinforced Confederate memory long after the war. While it was never a military award in the wartime sense, it became one of the most visible emblems of Confederate remembrance in the 20th century. Johnny Reb. Johnny Reb emerged during the Civil War as the archetypal Confederate soldier. The name appeared in newspapers, letters, and literature to personify the everyday Southern fighter, much like Billy Yank represented Union troops. Johnny Reb was never an official symbol, but rather a cultural shorthand for bravery, resilience, and the spirit of the Confederate armies. Illustrations often depicted him wearing a gray uniform, slouch hat, and armed with a rifle, capturing the rugged image of the common soldier. He appeared in cartoons, postcards, and post-war memorial art, shaping the romanticized image of Confederate service. The figure of Johnny Reb was later used by veterans groups, historical societies, and commemorative events to evoke nostalgia for the Confederacy. While not a formal emblem like flags or medals, Johnny Reb became central to Confederate memory, representing the individual soldier behind the political and military struggle of the South during the Civil War. Confederate monuments and statues. Following the Civil War, numerous monuments and statues were erected across the southern United States to honor Confederate leaders, soldiers, and the cause itself. Prominent figures commemorated include General Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and Jefferson Davis. Many monuments were built during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, coinciding with the Jim Crow era and again during the Civil Rights Movement, often as statements of Southern identity and political messaging. The statues varied in style, from towering marble figures on pedestals to more modest memorials in town squares and cemeteries. They were intended to honor sacrifice, preserve memory, and provide rallying points for veterans organizations. Materials commonly included bronze and granite, with inscriptions detailing battles, dates, and acts of valor. While these monuments serve as historical markers, they also reflect the ways in which the Confederacy was memorialized long after its defeat, shaping public spaces and collective memory across generations. Confederate Corps and Regimental Flags. Beyond the national flags, individual Confederate corps and regiments often carried their own distinctive banners. These flags varied widely in size, color, and symbolism, typically incorporating the Confederate battle flag in the canton combined with unit numbers, mottos, or state emblems. They served as practical identifiers on the battlefield, allowing commanders and soldiers to distinguish units amid smoke and chaos. Materials ranged from wool and cotton to silk for presentation flags with hand-painted designs and embroidered stars or mottos for prestige units. Some regiments added local symbols, such as state seals or allegorical figures, emphasizing loyalty to both the Confederacy and their home states. While primarily functional, these flags also became powerful morale symbols, rallying soldiers during combat and commemorating victories, and many surviving examples are now preserved in museums as tangible reminders of the Confederate military structure. Confederate Naval Ensigns. The Confederate Navy utilized specialized naval ensigns to differentiate its vessels from Union ships. Early war ensigns were adaptations of the national flags, often featuring the Confederate battle flag in a square canton with stripes or plain fields modified for maritime visibility. Some designs included unique naval symbols, such as anchors or wreaths, while variations indicated ship class or squadron affiliation. These flags were typically larger than their land counterparts to remain visible at sea, made from heavy-duty cotton or silk to withstand wind and saltwater exposure. Confederate naval ensigns played a critical role in communication, signaling, and identification during blockade running, commerce raiding, and coastal defense operations. Today, these ensigns remain some of the most distinctive and less commonly recognized symbols of the Confederacy, highlighting the maritime dimension of its military heritage. Confederate Medals and Awards. While most Confederate commemorative medals were post-war, the CSA did issue a limited number of battlefield ribbons, badges, and campaign-specific awards during the Civil War. These items bore Confederate symbols such as the national seal, battle flag motifs, or unit insignia, and were often awarded for acts of leadership, gallantry, or service in particular campaigns. Materials included cloth for ribbons, bronze for small badges, and occasionally precious metals for presentation pieces given to officers. Though not standardized like modern military decorations, these wartime awards reinforced Confederate identity, provided recognition within units, and helped foster esprit de corps among soldiers facing harsh conditions. Surviving examples are rare, making them valuable artifacts that reflect both the practical and symbolic dimensions of Confederate military culture. And there you have it, the symbols that define the Confederacy, each carrying layers of history, controversy, and cultural impact. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history, and drop a comment sharing which symbol surprised you most.